Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So today we will be taking a look at this indie deck. This is called the Accurate AF Tarot. So this is what the sides of the box looks like. It comes in this very pale pink box with a little bit of these gold details. It's from Prism and Floor, and it says here, this is created as an invitation for you to deepen your connection with yourself on a mental, emotional, and spiritual level. Accurate AF Tarot is a dreamscape portal, your go-to deck for honesty and enlightenment. It is a deck from 2020. And it comes in this two-part box. It doesn't have any thumb cut out, so I do let gravity do its thing. Okay, so this is just what the inside of the box looks like. It has this padded insert to keep the card safe, and thumb holes on the side, which doesn't really work for me, so normally I just tip it over. And then you have a QR code. It's printed other way around, but you have a QR code for the guidebook here on the inside of the box. So let me just put this box to the side. You can get the guidebook from the QR code, but they also sell this guidebook separately, the printed guidebook. It is gold gilded. It has the same color, this light pink. Says the same thing as it does on the box, and it is a really nice quality guidebook. So let's skim through it before we look at the cards. So on the table of contents, it tells you how to use your deck, how to read circular tarot cards, and then it gives you some tarot spreads, tarot and numerology, and then details on the major arcana and the story of the major arcana on each card. Then you go into the minors. So I like that there's an index page for each card, and then you have some details about the creator. So let's skim through it, because this guidebook is quite good. Although you can get it as a PDF, some people prefer to have the physical guidebook in their hands. Okay, so it tells you how to read circular cards, gives you an option if you want to read reversals, some tarot spreads, 3 cards, past, present, and future, exploring the subconscious, and then let go and flow. Then you have here details on the numerology, and then some information about the major arcana before you even go to the details for each card. So on the left side, or on one side, you have the image, and then some descriptions on what's there. Now for me, this text is a little hard to read. And again, this is because I have bad eyesight, for those of you who don't know yet. So text like this is kind of difficult for me to read, but at least on the right side, I have no problem with it. It also tells you the element, the star sign, the planet, and the crystal, as well as a yes-no association for that particular card. An affirmation, you have the upright meaning, a little bit of a prompt, and then the reverse meaning. So I think it's a pretty good guidebook. Yeah, it has prompts and all of that for all of the cards, even on the minor. So let's choose one. Yeah, so, oh, by the way, they have renamed their courts to Dawn for the page, Spirit for the knight, and then it's still the Queen and King. Okay, so let us see. Oh, they also renamed the Pentacle suit to Rings. So I think that's all there is to see about that guidebook. And maybe just a note. I love this light pink color. It does feel like a soft petal, rose petal kind of finish, as well as the box. But I do have to tell you and warn you that this is going to pick up dust and dirt. And I don't know, even if you keep it somewhere enclosed, I'm pretty sure that after some time it will get a little bit dirty. Now, I did get my copy second-hand, but I also know the person who used to own this deck, and she is quite careful with her cards. But you can still see there is a little bit of well, dirt on the box, which is to be expected. Okay, so moving on to the cards. So this is what it looks like. The cardstock is like, it's a relatively thin matte rose petal card, and it is circular, as you can see. It's, I can't, oh wait, let me get the tarot card so that you can see or have an idea of the size. Okay, so here is a typical tarot size card. This is from Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. So since it's circular, you can't really compare it apples to apples, but at least you have an idea. And then these are the backs. They are not really, well, it's circular, so it's kind of, it goes all over the place, but they're not really reversible if you just look at it this way. Okay, now I did mention that it is gilded with this beautiful matte gold. So this is the type of gilding that I do like. It feels like it's painted on, and it's really good quality. Alright, so let's take a look at the cards in more detail. So for each card, you have the title at the top, and then you have some keywords at the bottom, and this border, but it kind of looks, I don't mind the borders. I don't really mind that it's like a double border. It just feels like it's part of the art, so I don't really mind that. The art style feels dreamy and almost ethereal. Now, the art is really what drew me to this deck. I wanted it since I first saw it, which was 2021, when I first started learning about tarot. And this is one of those decks that just really caught my attention. One, because it is circular. Two, because the art style is pretty much, I feel, my aesthetic. Now, I'm not really fond of collage decks, and I do think that this can be considered or falls under that category of a collage. But the thing I don't like about collage decks is if it's too crowded on the image, and this one doesn't feel like that at all. It just seems like there's this primary image that is superimposed against the background, a really beautiful landscape background, which I appreciate and I am drawn to. Now, I do think that this is just the second version of the deck. Initially, they didn't have the landscape background or something, but definitely I do like this version a lot better. So I would say it is quite helpful for beginners since there are keywords on each card, but that is also very much dependent on you if you're drawn to this type of aesthetic, or if you like circular cards, because you know that is one of the reasons why I haven't gotten this deck, even though I wanted it for so long, because I was just really not sure about the card stock and the card shape. I had the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck before, which was circular, and it didn't really, it was so difficult to work with because it was bigger than my hand. But the size of this is okay with me. I have no issues with the size. But it was also rose petal, and I don't really like that finish because I usually shuffle and work with jumpers, and it's hard to do that with this type of cardstock. But it's a really lovely deck. So I did tell myself I wasn't going to buy this brand new, and I'm just glad that I was able to find it in one of the Facebook groups that I have joined to buy secondhand decks or decks for rehoming, which is always a good option, especially since this deck brand new costs upwards of $50 or $60. And the guidebook is separate. I didn't really need the physical guidebook personally, but since I was getting it as a set from from the person who sold it, I just went with it. Because I do like and prefer PDF guidebooks because of my eyes. Alright, so I have to use two hands because it's sticking. But yeah, just wanted you to see the details of the cards. As always, feel free to slow down or pause if you want to take a closer look and I guess read the keywords if I'm doing the flip through too fast. So in most of my flip throughs, I usually just go through some information about the cards, show you all of the images one by one, and then I shuffle and then choose a card to read and then read from the guidebook, so you would also have an idea of how the guidebook reads. So I have timestamps for all of these things down below in the description box, so you can just jump over to the part that you wanna to listen to or to hear about. All right. So it does get a little bit pippish with the minors, but because of the background, it looks like a scenic pip. Okay. Okay. Oh, and as mentioned, they have renamed the quartz. So dawn is the page, then you have spirit for the night, and then you still get your queen and your king. Now there's also very little body diversity in this deck, but it's not really, diversity in decks is something that I really appreciate, but it's not something I look for right off the bat, although I am getting more aware of it. And if that is important to you, then yeah, I don't see a lot in this deck. And again, it is quite pippish. So I'll move through the minors relatively quickly because although she's kind of curvy. Okay. Alright, and for the pentacles, it has been renamed to rings. The colors are like a bright pastel, if that makes sense. And then 9, 10. Oh, it's just one card. Sometimes it feels like it's two cards. The dawn, the spirit. Alright, so like we usually do, I zoomed out so you would have an idea of how this shuffles. And then we will choose a card to read and read from the guidebook. Now, this is being a circular deck. I was worried about how it would riffle shuffle, but I said, like I said, the size is just right for my hand, so I can grasp it in my hand, and it actually riffle shuffles pretty well. I can even bridge it, so there's a pretty good mix there. But the rose petal finish, just I don't like this finish. It makes it rather sticky, and later on when I show you how I overhand this, there is a tendency for the cards to clump. Okay, so for the riffle shuffling, it's not bad. Okay, but here it does get pretty challenging. So because most of the cards stick together, and when something falls out, it's normally multiple cards. And even though I don't normally shuffle in reversals, you can't really do anything about it if it is circular. Okay, so I did manage to get us one card as jumper, so we will read for that one, which is the Dawn of Rings. But yeah, just wanted to show, oops. And so because of the shape, it also kind of gets away from you sometimes. Yeah, but I'm side shuffling or overhand shuffling this deck is not a pleasant experience for me, but I can still work with it. Alright, so we will be reading for the Dawn of Rings. Alright, so in the guidebook here, let me just put this on the screen. So if you want to pause and read what's written in the guidebook for the description of the art, you can, because I can't. I can't read that unless I refer to the PDF, so I would leave you to it if you want to pause and then read that. Okay, so for the Dawn of Rings, it is for the element of Earth because it's a pentacle suit. The star sign associated with it is Taurus, ruled by the planet Venus, and then in a yes-no question, it can be considered as a yes. So the affirmation, I welcome fresh growth and renewal into my life. The upright meaning is application, practicality, information, awareness, developments, and effort. A dawn in the tarot is considered a messenger and holds the energy of a muse, renewing your mental flow and assisting you in processing information in a way which allows for non-linear expansion. The Dawn of Rings is associated with news, learning, or developments that relate to earthly matters like finances, career, property, etc., and can indicate that you are putting a lot of consideration into your long-term plans for the future, aligning your goals with your core values, and discovering new topics or skills that capture your interest, and create a wonderful environment for serious growth that will result in long-term mastery. It's indicated that you are making a solid start or laying the foundations for future success in these areas, and by all means, this dawn is a sign that you have the resources and stamina to manifest your heart's desires. However, being the suit of rings, staying focused and grounded is imperative, steadily moving towards an end goal with intent and as little distraction as possible. And then for the reversed meaning, I'll just put it up on the screen so that you can pause and read. And you have some prompts here as well. Okay, so my final thoughts on this deck. I'm glad that I was able to get a copy secondhand. I am not a fan of the cardstock. I would still prefer the regular shaped tarot cards. I love the art. I really, I find the art really appealing, and I really love the aesthetic. It feels gentle, but also direct. I think it's because of the line work. And I love this strength card. Oh, some of the cards have been renamed. I'm sorry. I hope you noticed that. but yeah, would I have gotten this if I had to pay full price? Probably not. And that's really just what I think about it, because I have so many other decks that I feel like I will enjoy working with more. But I do have, hold on. So there's one thing though. I work with this deck in, it's because I don't like how it shuffles. I don't like the cardstock. I try to work with it in different ways, and I'll just show you. Give me a bit. Alright, so what I usually do is, because this deck has keywords on either side, sometimes what I would do is, let me just give it a shuffle. Sometimes what I would do is I work with another tarot deck or an oracle deck maybe. So I'm just using the Practical Tarot Wisdom because I think it's right here. It's very easy to read. And when I get this card, The keywords are moderation and equilibrium on the side. And then I pull another card from another deck, and then I put it on either side. So for example, in this case, moderation, like what do I need to do in moderation? And it shows me here the moon, and then the equilibrium is the Ten of Wands. And I get another layer of a reading from that, instead of using this deck as like a normal tarot where I lay out all of my cards. And I think that works better for me because I don't have to shuffle it as much, and I don't have to handle it as much, which is my primary issue with this deck. You know, I just wish they used a different cardstock. Really, the shape I can live with because the size is just great, but this rose petal matte is just not my favorite. Anyway, so I think I've said a lot already. But yeah, that has been the flip through of the Accurate AF Tarot by Persimmon Floor. If you find this helpful, please click on the like button and do consider subscribing to my channel. I post videos like this at least once a week, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!